取るに足らないプライド。確かにね。聞けよ牛島。俺は自分の選択が間違いだと思ったことはないし、俺のバレエは何一つ終わっていない。取るに足らないこのプライド、絶対に覚えておけよ。
What you are seeing here is a character who was voted best antagonist several years ago when all he wanted to do was just play freaking volleyball. Yeah, so Oikawa Tooru is apparently evil. I mean, at least according to parts of the fandom in that one Twitter poll that's taunted him for years now. I cannot wrap my head around that though, because isn't he the same as everybody else in the series? Like, he's just as obsessed with volleyball. By that logic, we should be calling Ushijima and Atsumu the same thing. We should be calling them evil. And if we're just doing it based off of who's gone up against Karasuno, then what about Kenma or Aone or even Hoshi Umi? Well, it probably has something to do with that worthless pride line. All that arrogance is what makes him so evil. You know what? Okay, let me be kind. I'm not gonna call him evil. I'm gonna call him formidable from now on. We're gonna use the formidable label. Labeling him as the bad guy is so easy because, like, look, the evidence is right there. Look at him. He's arrogant, obsessed, gets extremely jealous from time to time, easily frustrated, and... Oh, wait. Those weren't clips of Oikawa, were they? Surprise! Because if those are the qualifications for being the bad guy, then literally every character in Haikyuu would be the bad guy. And I know what some of you were saying, I can hear it all the way across the screen. Oh no, but Hinata isn't like that. Atsumu's different. Bokuto, that's a part of his charm. So on and so forth. We like to change the definition real fast when it comes to them. Looking at their bright and positive sides, they are fan favorites for a reason. Bokuto is one of my favorites too. So what's the main difference? Well, it's obvious. Wording, presentation, adjectives, it's all in the labels, man. If I said that I was obsessed with something to the point where it became part of my identity, you would look at me like I am absolutely crazy. But if I said that I'm dedicated to it, you would just call me passionate or committed. That's the power of wording, my friends. Dedication makes it sound like I've got my life together, which I kind of I don't. But obsession makes it sound like I have lost it, which has not happened to me yet. But we will see. I'm still talking about the same level of commitment. All I did was switch out one word and suddenly the way that we view things kind of changes. Like, we start to feel completely different about it. Adjectives are weird like that. They're not only descriptors for characters or even people. I think a lens would probably be like the best metaphorical way to put it. It changes the way we see a character's true nature, and it bends and stretches their characterization based off of those adjectives. So if I were to say, oh, that Hinata Shoyo, he's a nice young boy, he's so dedicated to volleyball, he loves it, you would believe me. You wouldn't look deeper than that because you've already been given the answer on how you're supposed to view him. And none of those words are wrong or bad, they are all definitely true, but those adjectives are only describing certain parts of him, and it pushes the rest of them into the background. No duh, we're gonna smile at Hinata's dedication. Look at him, he's adorable. We love how he's determined to become the little giant, but we'll look past the parts of him that made him sneak off into a training camp that he was not invited to. Oh my God, I cringe whenever I think of that scene. Ugh. The word dedication tells us where to look and how to feel. Haikyuu does this all the time. It takes traits that if this were not a sports anime, we would find cringy, crazy, weird, I don't know, and frames them as things that we're supposed to admire. Bokuto's just a guy who feels things at 100%. He's passionate. That's not frustration that you're seeing. Atsumu's got well-earned confidence. He's not arrogant. Oh, poor Yamaguchi, he's trying to figure out how to believe in himself. He's not jealous, and that's technically correct. That's the fun part about the characterization in Haikyuu. These are complicated characters, but it chooses to show us the parts that make us root for them. Well, that is except for one character. Oikawa embraces every single negative adjective you throw his way. Seriously, I truly believe that if you sat him down and you explained every single bad thing about him, he would look you dead in the face and just go, yeah, And you wouldn't be telling him anything that he doesn't already know. He knows exactly who he is and why he acts this way. Like, let's take his jealousy. It is on full display during his middle school days. It even boils over to the point where it gets violent. Well, I mean, almost violent. His pride is right there every time he steps onto the court. He's quick to throw out a petty comment or a cocky remark. He stays up late obsessively studying game footage because he refuses to let someone catch him off guard. He knows he's good. It's a matter of getting everybody else to see how good he is too. And that is it. That is the difference between Oikawa and the rest of the characters in the show. He has no issues with how he's being framed. In fact, he is proud of it, which is why I love that worthless pride line so much. Like, it is literally one of my absolute favorite scenes in anime, period. Because he stares Ushijima down and basically goes, yeah, and? Call me whatever you want. Call me proud, call me arrogant. I could not care less. All of this, these labels that you give me, they will be the things that beat you one day. He will never ask for a kinder adjective. He does not care about those. And yeah, sure, plenty of characters in Haikyuu have these exact same qualities within them. I mean, like, look, Oikawa and Atsumu are the exact same character, just written in slightly different fonts and with different accents. You cannot tell me that I'm wrong. But Oikawa is the one that reminds us that those nice, fluffy adjectives that we like to use, yeah, they don't come from nowhere. We treat labels like they sit on opposite ends of an invisible spectrum when really they don't. They just genuinely don't. Dedication doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. You reach the point where it consumes your thoughts, where it's all you can think about until it's wired into your very being. Confidence doesn't magically appear in front of you. Somewhere along the line, you've got to believe in yourself enough to say, yeah, I am the best at this. Jealousy seems like this monstrous, overwhelming emotion, yet in the right moment, it's what pushes us to chase after what we want. It's the thing that makes us think, well, if they can do it, why can't I? Turning envy into fuel for action and passion. That only happens when you care so much that every mistake starts living rent-free in your head, and every setback makes you want to come back 10 times, 30 times, 20 times stronger. I feel like I went out of order with those numbers. Those negative and positive labels do not exist in two different worlds. They're a hodgepodge, bumping into each other, overlapping with each other, borrowing from each other. Sometimes dedication burns so hot that it starts looking like obsession. Sometimes confidence spills over into pride. Wanting something badly enough can look like jealousy, and passion can grow so big that every setback starts to feel personal and frustrating. So that's why we think Oikawa is formidable. See? I didn't forget, I didn't call him evil. Because we spend so much time trying to separate the good emotions from the bad emotions that we forget that sometimes, or usually, they're coming from the exact same place. We just choose whichever lens makes us feel the most comfortable. And I am not going to view him through that formidable/evil lens. Nope, I don't want to do that. Because genuinely, Oikawa is just some kid. I have no clue how he won Best Antagonist all those years ago. Like, he's no Sukuna, he's no Doflamingo, he's no Aizen. He is just a 17-year-old. He's 17. You'd think this kid was plotting world domination or something. Like, no, all he wants is to be Kageyama and Ushijima in volleyball. He's not some larger-than-life antagonist. He's just a dude. Arrogant, obsessed, extremely jealous, and easily frustrated. Yeah, he is all of those things, but those adjectives don't exist in some separate category from the traits we admire. Making labels is easy. Applying them is easy. The difficult part is accepting that a person can be all of those things at once, that a person can embrace those things while still liking themselves in spite of it. Because we love putting people into neat little boxes. Heroes get heroic traits, villains get villainous ones. The good parts go here and the bad parts go there. But Oikawa does not fit into either one of those boxes. He's proof that sometimes those labels are just different ways of looking at the same thing. Confidence can look like arrogance. Dedication can look like obsession. Wanting to improve can look like jealousy. He's not an Olympian at the end of the series despite his flaws. He succeeded because he had the worthless pride to own them. So, and this is where I get just a little bit philosophical, maybe it's time we stop trying to fit into those little boxes ourselves. Be arrogant about your skills. You are probably really good at whatever your skill is. Be obsessed with your craft. I mean, you know, you got into it for a reason. Keep going. Be frustrated when you fail. You worked hard, and working hard leads to frustration. Everything is frustrating. Negative adjectives and positive adjectives, they are not as far apart as we like to pretend. The difference is what you choose to do with them. All right, I'm done. Yay! Are y'all team for Oikawa? Or are you against Oikawa? Do you think that we like label intense characters as villainous just like a little bit too quickly? And like, what about real life people? Oh, what about yourself? Are there any negative adjectives that you just won't apologize for? I would love to know. Let me know down in the comments. Watch Haikyuu over on Crunchyroll. Obviously not sponsored. I just love this series and I want to share it with people. And you know what's crazy? I made this entire video about Oikawa. He is literally not even in my top 10. Does not make it even close. Kinma's my actual favorite. I just think Oikawa is the most interesting out of everybody in that series. If you like what I've done here, please consider subscribing. Check out my other videos and my socials are linked below. I have been AJ, I don't know. I think I've used the word adjective so many times within this video that I literally can't come up with one to describe myself for this week. But I'll see you next time. Bye.